We have a last leg of this AI summit starting. Two more speakers, and at the end we have a few minutes for audience questions. So please think something. We have the experts in the front row, and I'm sure they'll gladly answer to your questions. And one member of the audience mentioned that she has lost her sunglasses. So if someone finds sunglasses, please contact me or the staff. But yeah, we go forward with the program now. Our next speaker is Juha Lahti, Program Director of Antenne Deutschland. And I've understood, correct me if I'm wrong, that Antenne Deutschland launched the world's first AI-driven and self-sufficient stream and on-air program. Yeah, that was correct. So, pioneers, really. And they've been on the front line of AI and radio for a long time. So, please give a big warm welcome to Juha Lahti.
Thank you. Thanks. Hello. Do you hear me? Yeah? Very good. So I go for my timer here. And a very warm welcome and a very warm servus. I'm usually a Bavarian native speaker, but I give my very best that you understand me. I think I'm the only one without any slide here because I thought it were the radio days and we are audio people, so I thought I just want to talk to you and share my thoughts with you. Just a little context for Antenne Deutschland. We are, on the one side, the operator of the Nation MUX here in Germany, the second Nation MUX. And we also have 6 radio stations over DIB, plus we are making on our own. Absolut Radio is the brand. And yeah, we have everything from CHR to hot AC over Oli based over. So what you need to have a good radio bouquet. And yeah, also we have a lot of streams. And as Olle said, on the 18th of July 2023, we have started the first AI-driven radio stream. A few weeks later, we are also put the stream on a on-air program. And it runs 24/7 by itself. It's AI-driven, and we made this with our technical partner, Radio Cloud. They supported us a lot in this time where we wanted to start it. So why did we do this? There were a few reasons. The first, because we could. This was the first one. And the second was, we wanted to figure out what is possible to this time. A few months before, we have heard at the Radiodays about the big thing AI and what's going on and what's coming, and we thought, okay, let's do it. Let's see what we can do. And yeah, it took about, I would say, 3 months till the program ran as we wanted it to run. Yeah, it took a few months because we not wanted a program where 7 people are working with every day and make something. We wanted a program that runs by itself. That's, I think, one of the things an AI should do. It should make it by itself. And 3 months later and around 4,500 prompts later, Kai is the host of the stream, makes a really good job. Yeah, he's doing the weather. He's doing about music news. He's talking about celebrity news. He's a really, really big Taylor Swift fan. Every time Taylor comes in the radio, he's really excited. And he's not because he wants to be, he's because we prompted him to be a Swiftie. And yeah, that's a thing we see what is the same with Kai and a human employees is we have to talk, I think every 2, 3, 4 weeks about some things again and again and again. You know, when sometimes he has some problems with numbers. He can't say German numbers or English numbers. He is struggling with this thing. What really, really good works is when you say, Kai, the next break has to be 30 seconds. It's 30 seconds and not more. And as you know, when you're working with human employees, sometimes you have a little discussion. So the stream is the one thing. The second thing is that we are working with every member of the team since months with AI tools. We have around 20 different tools we are using at Absolute Radio, from the editors to the hosts, from the production to the sales team, marketing. We all use it because we know we have to. There is no other choice. Instead of using these things, we have no meeting anymore where we don't have any AI with us. Is it ChatGPT or Gemini, or take whatever you want? Because we see that it's really important to have this stuff and to use it. The question, I think, is not anymore, is it a human or is it the machine? So human versus machine. I think the thing is human with machine against human without machine. And I think the answer is crystal clear. So, but what we have almost missed, or what I have almost missed in this whole AI summit, and I know it's an AI summit, is the thing, what is happening with our human colleagues we are working with. You have just gone a little bit in this, and I love cheese also. What is happening with the colleagues we are working with every day? And I can only tell you we had a lot of fear in the whole company, in the whole crew. The people came and said, hey, will I be replaced tomorrow when there is an AI and comes and makes my job? I am a host, I love what I do, and there is a guy named Kai and he makes the weather and these things. What is with me? And I think this is one thing we have to really think about when we talk about all the thing with AI and what can we do or what should we do and what should not, and everything about this. As you said, and it's not easy to go after you to the stage, I tell you. So what you said is, I think it's not the right way to go and to just replace things in the program with AI. That's not the way we are go on. But the way is, and I think that's the biggest chance for radio right now, we can give our human employees one thing back they have lost the last years, and this is time. We can give them back time to be creative again, to be crazy again, and to think out of this freaking radio box again. We are all in for 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever years. Because I think this is what we've lost the last years. I just take a look at the, yeah, that's good. I think that is what we've lost the last years, and I only can speak for the German radio market, but when I hear and listen and take a look, it's often the same things we always repeat and repeat and repeat, and we think people will like it and will come back. But when we look it in the eye, we have lost almost a whole generation after the last 10 or 15 years. Generation Z or Generation Alpha, we are not the number one thing anymore when they get up in the morning and when they go to bed in the evening and all between. And I think when we want to get back and get them back again in our radio thing, we have to take AI and give our people time again to make these crazy things and to make things different than we did the last years. And I read sometimes, yeah, we make on-air first, and the other one make social media first, and then we make whatever online first, AI first. But what we are missing is, let's make it all audience first. The people who are listening, or we want to listening to us, this should be the thing we have to put first, and then decide, should we make it with AI? Should we make it with human intelligence? What's the basic of all? Or how can we handle all these things? So I don't want to give any advice. Who am I to give you an advice? I just want to share my thoughts with you. And I think the first thing is, when you're thinking, how can we handle it and what should we do with it? Check out the tools you need for your company. They are really different and you have so many things. If they doesn't exist, go to experts, AI experts, and let them build the things you need. Take your colleagues with you. That's the most important thing I can tell you. And yeah, try it out. Try to figure out what's possible and what's not. And I think this is the way to win this war for talents and to win the war for listeners. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tina, for this inspiring monologue. And as I mentioned earlier, we will soon have a Q&A with the experts. Not all of them are here, but most of them are here. Our last speaker here today is Raoul Wedel, CEO of Wedel Software, and we will hear about Athos ad platform. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you were the first ones to use synthetic voices.
One of the first ones, yes, that's right. One of the first ones.
Okay, so they are doing cutting-edge things with the AI audio technology, and now we will hear some more about it. So please welcome Mr. Raoul Wedel.
Thank you. Okay, so my name is Raoul Wedel. I'm the CEO of Wedel Software. We've been making software for radio and television stations for over 30 years. And about 3 years ago, we got involved into a project on how we can make audio advertising more dynamic. And that evolved into a platform which is called Athos, and it's an AI-powered creative management platform that can be used for creating news, weather, traffic, advertising, dynamic advertising, and any other short-form audio content. Next slide, please. Oh, yeah. Forgot that, yeah. So the different elements that we have in the platform, it's a professional audio solution for broadcast. So when these technologies evolve, a lot of people don't understand what the different possibilities and pitfalls are of the technology. One of the things is that most of the AI voice technology has been built for consumer kind of type applications, for TikTok videos and things like, but not for professional audio. And that is where we try to make a difference. So one of the things that we've done, that we do, is create dynamic creative. We change advertising with AI based on any variables. It could be something simple like the weather, or it could be something much more complex like a shopping cart from an online retailer, where we can say, hey, you forgot to empty your shopping cart because this product that you liked is still in there. We have a part that deals with self-service ad creation. So from filling out a simple brief, you can create a fully produced ad with script writing, synthetic voices, music, sound effects, and putting that all together in a fully produced ad. We do news, weather and traffic, which is the news we integrate with radio newsroom systems, the most famous ones. For weather and traffic, we can use data, we can use API data to create fully automated and localized weather and traffic segments. So, and we are not just a company that resells other technology providers' voices. We create our own voices, and we've created over 100 voices in several different languages. And for this presentation, I want to go more into the detail and give actual use cases of how our customers around the world are using these technologies in their radio stations or audio publications. So these are some of the countries and customers that we serve around the world. I will get more into detail to that. First case study that I'm going to talk about is Talpa Network. For the people that do not know it, Talpa Network is one of the biggest broadcasters in the Netherlands. They sell airtime for 3 national stations, or for 8 national stations, of which they own 3 national stations. They reach 7.5 million weekly listeners, and in Triton Digital's streaming rankers, they are the number 2 after iHeartMedia when it comes to streams. A little bit about the project. So there were various people within Talpa full-time involved in the project, people that deal with production, producing the audio ads, people on sales, trying to make the case to advertisers and agencies, people on marketing working on that. And for Talpa, we created 20 custom voices in the platform, and those voices are all professional, high-quality radio advertising voiceover talent that we pay on a use per usage basis. So the voiceover talent gets paid when their voice is used in one of those campaigns. Some of the agencies that we worked with are Dentsu and Group M and Publicis. And we have several campaigns for big national top 10 advertisers in the Netherlands live for many years. And we've been doing this with Talpa since already late 2021, early 2022. And we also do marketing with them for promotion of AI and synthetic voices. And if the engineer can play the audio sample, this is one of the audio clips that just an audio ad that we produced.
Vrijdag 19 januari is het zover. De Vrienden van Amstel livestream. Dit jaar niet alleen vanuit de grootste kroeg van Nederland, maar ook live op groot scherm in jouw favoriete Amstelkroeg. Dus ook bij jou in Amstel. Kijk op vriendenvanamstel.nl en vind jouw favoriete kroeg.
Okay, so this is an ad for Amstel beer with a special event that they're organizing. So again, these are major advertisers that we're serving with the platform. These are some of the agencies again, and the picture in the right bottom, that is the Chief Investment Officer of Group M in the Netherlands. And we actually made a synthetic version of his voice to send out invitations to a Group M event where the Chief Investment Officer was inviting people personally with an audio ad to join the event. Next case study is MediaCorp in Singapore. MediaCorp is the largest broadcaster in Singapore. They're kind of cross-section between public and commercial because they're owned by the government. They've been around for a long time, and they are the most trusted news source in Southeast Asia when it comes to audio and television news. They use our platform to create content for online news services, but also voiceovers for some of their television programs. We created a custom voice for them in the Malay language in a Singaporean accent. That's quite uncommon. There's not so many people speaking Malay anymore in Singapore, and especially with the Singaporean accent. And we needed to make sure that things like Chinese street names were pronounced correctly, or Malay politician names. So we did a lot of work into creating that, and the quality that we were able to achieve was like 20% better than what it is that they expect that we would deliver. And the things that we're now doing is training the newsroom systems and newsroom users and creating new voices in other languages for MediaCorp. Another case study is NPO in the Netherlands, the public broadcaster in the Netherlands. For their pop music channel 3FM, we have created an AI chatbot, which is, the chatbot is an audio version of one of their on-air personalities. So 3FM is one of the big national pop music stations in the Netherlands, and we took one of their hosts, Nelly Brenner, and there's now an AI version called Nelly AI, where people in the future will be able to call into and ask questions about relationship advice or concerts or other topics that deal with that radio station. One of the things that we did for this specific voice is that we focused on not doing the traditional news synthetic voice over type of voice, but to try to create a voice that really sounds and talks like somebody with a Gen Z accent and pronounces the band names correctly and things like that. So we spent a lot of time in this project also in making that work. Next showcase, Arabian Radio Network in Dubai. That is kind of similar to MediaCorp, a government-owned commercial operation. The interesting thing about Arabian Radio Network is that in Dubai they provide audio services to almost all of the languages of the people that are living in Dubai. So in their case, it's about 7, 8, 9 languages that they use. And since Dubai is a very small country, population 3.5 million, you can imagine that it's very hard to find somebody in Dubai that can read a good news bulletin or voice over an audio ad. So for countries and organizations like this is a really good solution for them to use. So with them, we're going into first doing self-service audio ads for their salespeople, where they can do ads in various countries. If we can play an example for this one.
Are you a chocolate lover with a discerning palate and milk allergies?
That's me, always struggling to find the right chocolate.
Look no further. Al Nasma chocolate is exactly what you need.
Al Nasma is a premium brand that uses camel milk, which is lactose-friendly and rich in vitamins.
That's interesting, but what about the taste?
Oh, it's divine? A chocolate festival goer from Seattle says, mellow, rich flavor, creamy, and not laden with wax. I've been buying it ever since.
There you have it, Al Nasma, the perfect blend of health and indulgence.
Sounds promising. I must give it a try.
Visit alnasma.com today and experience the taste of luxury.
Okay, so let's go to the next case study. This is again for Dutch public broadcaster, but for a different program of them. It's called NPO Blend. It's an urban hip-hop program on DAB+. And they wanted to use a black type of voiceover talent. There it goes. They wanted to use a black urban voiceover talent to do their station imaging and promos, things that have to change, but that's kind of hard to arrange when you're in the Netherlands in a different time zone. So that's why they used one of our platform voices that we've created, which is an urban type voiceover for imaging and promo creation. Can we play an example for that?
Ayo, keep this. We got a vibe to spell. Bout Niels Hookland on NPO, where we dwell. Where beats and stories, they mesh well. Catch us tuned in, feeling the swell. Niels holding it down, with tales to spill. Straight from Hookland, keeping it real. Beats banging, hearts haunting, on the thrill.
I'll try to And the example, I'm not going to play the whole example, but you get the idea. So that was the presentation.
Thank you so much, Raoul. Thanks to all our great speakers today. And now we have 15 minutes for questions for the experts. If you have a question, please use that microphone there so people who are watching this later can hear your questions too. Okay, we have a first question. Could you introduce yourself?
Hi, Adam from Imaging Blueprint. I deal with a lot of voiceover talent. I don't want to be rude in asking this, but I guess you keep these voiceovers on a retainer and they do a set script for you. It's a conversation that we have in these circles. How do you keep them happy with the usage of their voice being on air all the time?
And you aimed the question to...
Yeah. It kind of depends on the situation, the market, and the customer. So in the United States, where the talent pool is very big, we just pay the talent one retainer, and we outright buy the rights to use their voice. Because of the talent pool is much bigger there, so we're able to do that. In smaller countries like the Netherlands, where we're originally from, it's much harder to do that because the talent pool is much smaller, and the talent is much more afraid of, starting
being
to compete,
bought out forever.
Starting to compete with their own synthetic version of their own voice. So in those scenarios, we pay them a fee, which is kind of similar to what it is that they get paid when they do a regular ad. But they don't have to do anything for it. So in those cases, it works quite well. In cases where we work with a organization that is bringing their own talent to our platform, we have contracts and paperwork in place where we say basically, your agreement is with, let's say you're working for the BBC, your agreement is with the BBC, but on our platform, the voiceover talent is always the person that can say, I want out of this.
But this is based on trust, because obviously once you've got the voice, it's not like a regular voice that you could reuse somewhere. You can manipulate to say anything.
No, we can manipulate the voice to say anything, but first of all, we have an option. We have platform voices that are for all our customers, and we have private voices that are just for a specific customer, so nobody else can enter the voice, can do anything with the voice. In theory, you could make an illegal version of promo or whatever, do whatever with the voice, but the technology is so advanced that if one would want to do that, then you can do it anyway.
Sorry, one last thing. Ethically as well, obviously if you go to a voiceover with a pitch and you say, look, we want you to put your voice to this company, to this product, it's one thing, but once they've signed that contract and you're 6 months down the line and it's a product that they might, had you have gone to them, go, I'm not happy with this. I don't like what they're advertising. But you've signed them and you've put their voice to that product. I guess that probably hasn't happened yet. But what happens if you get to those sort of crossroads?
Well, we've had discussions on that. For example, in the crossroads, what happens when voiceover talent deceases? Does his family? The family of the voiceover talent want to be confronted with, one of your family members still doing promos on the national radio station. So we have the voiceover talent confirm to that. So the voiceover talent can choose, if I pass away, then either my data is deleted or the revenue that's generated with that goes to my estate.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you so much for the question. Any more questions here? Please raise your hand and then move to the mic, or I can move. Hey, come on, we have experts here. Well, then I'll make one question, and anyone who has the clear vision can answer that. If we think the first steps of the internet For example, in 1993, it wasn't part of our usual life. And 30 years later, you can't operate in the modern society without the internet. So if we look in the mirror ball and no, it's crystal ball, but we can also look to the mirror ball. 30 years from now, how does the future of AI look like? Because I've heard that the transition to era of advanced AI will be it will be bigger than the switch to the era of internet. You want to answer, Mikkel?
No further than I can't look. I don't have a crystal ball. Actually, our company's slogan is cold hard facts, so we don't use looking in crystal balls. But for sure, there needs to be some type of legislation on an EU level that controls the development of the advanced parts of the artificial intelligence. Where that is heading and how that's going to happen is an open question, but there are so many ethical aspects to the usage of artificial intelligence that it's really going to be a work in progress over the next many years to try and determine where that kind of ends. And for radio, I think someone said that AI and radio is still a little toddler learning to walk. And there's no doubt about it that we have only seen the very first breaking waves in a tsunami of different stuff that we're going to be able to do with AI. But yeah, if I knew the future in 30 years, then probably I'd earn more money than I do, I think. So we can't really answer the question accurately.
Thank you, Mikkel, and Raoul will also.
Yeah, I wanted to add one thing about the legislation that we've discussed before. So. In the past months, in the US, there was a directive signed by Joe Biden where it deals with AI. The EU has made propositions when it comes to AI. And I think, unfortunately, a very big missed chance is the fact that there is no regulation for using somebody else's identity with AI when it comes to using their voice or when it comes to using a picture or a video for generating AI-based content. And that's unfortunate because that's the result is that we're going to move into a direction where, you know, we've already had Joe Biden doing robocalls for an election, which was an illegally cloned voice. So I think that's unfortunate, but that's one of the parts that we're going to.
Thank you, Raoul, and Olle Zachrison will also answer to this. Thank you.
Well, it was a big question, huh? What's going to happen with AI in 30 years? But if we just look forward a couple of years, I mean, I don't think we're going to talk about AI. I mean, it's going to kind of, camouflage itself. So it will be as hidden as it is in Google Maps. You know, we don't talk about it. We don't think about it. Now it's been such a hype with generative AI, but I think that already in this year, the hype has gone to products. So it's already happening in that sense. I think it's important to remember one thing. We're just talking about content here, like it's just kind of a commodity with content or news or whatever. I think we tend to forget journalism because that's what we work with, a lot of us, you know. And I think definitely it's going to be a big role for journalism to play in also the future of society. I think in 30 years there will still be very strong news brands that stand for something and that are maybe the opposite of just kind of generated content that anybody can create. So for me, coming from a public service broadcaster, I think that the guarantee stamp has to be in our brands and to give people real journalism and investigations, for example. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ulla. We have 8 minutes and yes.
Hello, I'm Jussi Putkonen, journalist at Yle Finnish Broadcasting Company. I've been following internet from the early 80s and I am a dreamer. I was a dreamer when the internet really broke. I thought that this is going to be a win to democracy. and free speech. And I lost my dream. Internet nowadays and social media are used many bad things, fake news, propaganda, and there's something stuff that nobody wants to look, even though it is still there. And now you have developed very powerful tools. So my question is, are you afraid that all these artificial intelligence programs are used, for example, against democracy and free speech?
Thank you, Jussi. Who would like to answer? Olle.
I'm the chat bot that can generate answers. No, but just one short thing about that. It was interesting on the South by Southwest conference now that there was a big discussion going on about open sourced models. Because if you open source a model, it sounds very good and democratic. We're releasing this code into the world. But I mean, anybody can use it then, also the bad actors, of course. So there's these whole kind of very strategic questions about the models and what you can use with them, and should you legislate the person who created the model or rather the end use of it? And I don't have any answers. I just know one thing, it is that legislators must move faster than they do today and also work with more iterations when it comes to the legislation. And going back to what I said before, I think we, as publishers, we can't wait for any legislation. You know, the EU Act, it's going to take ages to be implemented by all the countries. We have to come together also to create standards for example, transparency, so enable to make people trust us.
I might have a view on that too, because I didn't mention that when I was on stage, but I am actually, believe it or not, also a journalist, and I got out in time, so to speak. I also had a dream that the internet would save us from doing a lot of work, making everything easier and making stuff more transparent, and you're absolutely right. The opposite has in many ways happened, and journalism suffers not because of the internet. Journalism suffers because of broadcasters and news publicists that didn't do the right thing when the internet was only spawning and it was a young platform. It's very difficult to reverse now because anyone's a journalist now. Anyone who's got an Instagram profile or a Twitter profile or a Facebook page is a journalist. And unfortunately, the value of the content that they create there to the masses, sometimes you feel that the value of that content is the same as the value the publicists produce, which of course is a huge democratic problem. Where I fear AI is in the area that I also touched on when I was speaking, that if we start generating news or start collecting news automatically and reading them automatically, and well, sure there'll be a human filter and stuff, but the growth layer of journalism is becoming smaller and smaller. The actual trusted sources of journalism is becoming smaller and smaller. So I don't really fear SR or NRK or Yle doing stuff within AI because they're responsible publicists. But I can definitely see problems when publicists that consider themselves to be mass media, but not necessarily have the right ethical mindset of a publicist, will use AI for bad purposes. And that's also why the first thing I said was legislation. We can't wait for it, that's correct, but we better pray for it, because otherwise we're going to be in trouble.
Thank you so much, Mikkel. Any more answers? Tina.
Servus. I think the most important thing is that it's our job to bring the AI thing to our employees. And this is what I meant when I said we have to be crystal clear in our communication. We have to take them with us into this way, because we are the radio makers or TV or whatever, and we have to keep it that the AIs that are used for the right things, or the people they are using AI for the right things, are more than the other ones. That's the thing I believe in, because that is what I can do in my daily business as a leader of a radio program. And I think this is the ethical base we need. And yeah, I hope it will be good. That's, yeah. Amen.
Thank you, Tina. Juha.
Maybe a couple of words. The thing that kind of binds us as broadcasters and public broadcasters and companies is we have to follow rules. But as Jussi was saying, internet doesn't have to follow rules. All the individuals in the internet, they don't have to follow rules. So we are falling behind. We can't use Morgan Freeman, but they can. But the question is, how can we compete with those guys? We can't compete these guys with legislations. We can compete with those guys using Morgan Freeman. So it's a bit the other way around.
Thank you, Juha. Now our time is up, so thank you so much for joining us in this AI Summit. Hopefully you had a great time. Thank you to all our great speakers, and I hope you enjoy your Radio Days Munich. Have a great time. Thank you and good evening.